Well, hello and welcome to review number 5. Review number 5 is about one of my favorite topics. It has to do with queries. Queries that are pulling data, extracting data, and showing data out of databases and tables. This is a wonderful topic, and it's all about the logic of pulling data out of databases. So to begin, this is the first of a series of database applications based on supplier. All right, so in the first 4 modules, they based it out of vendor. Vendor was found in your database files under the Access 1 folder. Now you have graduated to the Access 2 folder. So you're going to your Google Drive, Access 2016 student data files, Access 2 folder, then the Review folder. And for today's assignment, what we need is the supplier database. All right, just this one, supplier, right-click and download that one. We may need the other ones as we go, but that's the one we need right now today. So the first thing you'll do is you'll open supplier. There we go. And you'll enable the content. And you'll click on File and then Save As. Save As. And again, put it in the folder where you can get at it. Now, today I'm putting things in a special folder for my database class. Okay, here's my database class stuff in my previous applications. The application is called Supplier with your last name, followed by the number 5 for module 5, and then click on Save. So you want to make sure that you have a copy and a backup copy of Supplier 5 at some point when you do Supplier 6. 7 and 8, because with a backup you can always go back and you'll never have to go back more than one module to get things fixed. And then we'll enable content. Step number 2 says you're going to open the TBL supplier table, and for A+ Labs, the contact first name will be your first name, and the contact last name will be your last name. And you save your work. And let's see, do we close this guy? Yep, we close the table. Step number 3. Okay, here we go. We're going to start building more queries. We're going to build a query called a QRY supplier name and address that lists the following fields from the TBL supplier table. And then we're going to use the auto filter, and we're going to select North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, etc. Okay, so the first step with this, first of all, because our source of data is the TBL supplier table, in my navigation pane on the left, I want to make sure that the TBL supplier is selected, not open, just selected. And then you go to the Create tab, and I'm going to use the Query Wizard. And we're going to do these couple of steps a number of times, so we might as well get used to it. Query Wizard, Simple Query Wizard. Click OK. Select your input. In this case, the author wants the supplier ID. Then he wants the company. Then he wants the city. Then he wants the state and zip code. And that's it. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fields. That's what I have. And then we're going to click Next. Here's where we name, name our object, QRY. And you'll notice that there are no spaces in this object name, No spaces. I'm going to go to the Modify the Query Design and click Finish. All right, so let's see. Oh, he wants me to use the auto filter. Gotcha. All right, so what I'll do is I'll just run the query. And I'm going to use auto filter. That's this thing right here. I'm using it for the state field. I'm going to deselect and I'm going to choose South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia. And then choose OK. Now, he didn't ask me to sort anything, but you want to make a mental note that you should have only 6 records showing as you finish. Okay, so we're going to turn the toggle off. There's our toggle. There's all the records, and there's the selected records. We're going to leave it like that, and we're going to save our work, and we're going to go to the next item. Number 4, it says create a query to find all records in the TBL supplier table in which the city field value starts with the letter A. Okay, here's how we do this. All right, we have the TBL supplier as our input already pre-selected. Then we go to the Create tab. Then we go to the Query Wizard. We choose Simple Query Wizard. Choose OK. All right, we've selected the TBL supplier table. And the author wants us to display all of the fields, so I'm going to use this shortcut right here. This is get everybody selected. All of the fields are selected. Then I'm going to choose Next. And here's where I name my object, QRY, uppercase A, uppercase S, ELECTED, uppercase C, IDIES. And then we're going to modify, and we're going to finish. Now, the auto selector was cute, but it's not going to work because the auto selector is not used if I use the query as an input to something else. Okay, so let's see. I'm only going to have cities which start with the letter A. Okay, so I'm going to say this in the city field. All right, there's my city field. In the TBL supplier table, my criteria row, and I'm going to type in like with an uppercase A in, let's do that again, L-I-K-E, quote, uppercase A, asterisk, quote. All right, so that's my selection criteria, and I'm going to run my thing. Okay, so it's Atlanta, Adolphus, Asheville, and Athens. So I should have 4 records going for me. Does he ask me to sort it? Yes, he does. He asked me to sort it. So I'm going back to the design view, and he wants me to sort this by the company name. All right, so here's my sort row. Okay, sort row is the 3rd row down, and I'm going to sort it by company to get it done. All right, so that's number 2. And I'm going to save my work. Item number 5, it says make a copy of this. Oh, we better close it to do that. All right, so I'm going to say this. You cannot delete nor can you rename any object that it's open. You have to close it to rename it or delete it. And it works easier if you want to copy it too. All right, so we're going to copy QRY, a selected cities. Right click and copy. Then I'm going to a blank area in the navigation pane, and I'm going to right click and paste. And here I give it a name. And the name is QRY Other Selected Cities, and choose OK. Now right now the 2 queries are identical. Even though they're named different, they're presently identical. I have to open Other Selected Cities query in Design View and make some changes. Okay, we're going to modify this query so that the city names are not Boston, Charlotte, or Billings. So I'm going to change my criteria to not in open parens and in quotes. Got to put these city names in quotes, and they are separated by commas. So it'll be quote, comma, quote between each one. The order of them is not all that important, but the fact that they, let's see if I can open this up so you can see the whole thing. So there it is, not in parentheses, in quotes, Boston, in quotes, Charlotte, in quotes, Billings. And that for every item in the list, you should have one less comma in your not in or in statement. Okay, does he want me to sort this? Find on a table. He doesn't say. He doesn't say to sort it or not. I'm going to leave it to be sorted by company because that's how the copied version, and all I'm going to do is change the criteria, and then I'm going to run it. And so that leaves us with 17 out of the 20 records. And let's see what happens if I click on right-click and save, and then right-click and close. Okay, so that brings us through step 5, which is a lot, really. When you talk about the complicated nature of these queries, there's a lot to take in. It's a brand new topic. I thoroughly ask you, go ahead and watch or review this video at least one more time to make sure that you've caught every detail. Otherwise, you may miss something. And then I'll see you in the next video where we'll pick up with item or step number 6. Until then, take care.